Hello, hello. You have reached a live stream here on the Living in Bakersfield channel. I am Angel Shabilsky, your local Bakersfield Realtor. Normally, I'm talking to you about how awesome it is to buy a house here in California. We're still one of the most affordable places to own and buy real estate. Praise the Lord. But I'm also a realtor that is reading the room. And there are a lot of you Californians that are deciding it's time to go somewhere else. So I have this Leaving California series that I'm bringing to you, and I want to introduce you to agents across the nation so that if you're thinking about North Carolina, if you're thinking about Florida, if you're thinking about, Kansas, you can actually know who to reach out to. Like, what's it like? How does it work? What do I need to do? Blah, blah, blah. So, I am the realtor that's going to help you sell in California. And I'm about to introduce you to Jessica Hensley, a colleague of mine, a friend of mine for many years. And she is a realtor in the Kansas area. So let me just bring her to the stage. Hello, Miss Jessica.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you.
You too. I'm
I
really
know.
excited about this.
I know. There's so much to talk about. As you probably heard, there are a lot of Californians that are saying, peace out. We've had it. It's time to go. And, Texas is a big state and Florida is a big state. Idaho, those are the three top states from California that people are leaving to go and call home. And those states are not loving all the Californians coming there, quite honestly. So I'm trying to help people understand, like, you're not moving to another planet. It's another state. It's another way of life. We Californians can be a little persnickety about some things, bugs, weather, shopping, and home prices. Obviously, they want to make sure they get the most from here to where they're going.
Mhm.
And so it kind of started out as like, well, I want to talk to my friends and talk to them about real estate. And now it's kind of become a thing. I've had people reach out to me and say, can you talk to an agent in XYZ city? And I'm like, okay. So I'm in the process of trying to get at least somebody in every state, but it might not work out that way. But when I was like, I know somebody in Kansas, let me just call Jessica. So
Thank you for
thank you
asking
for
me.
coming on. Yes. So tell us about the area that you serve in Kansas. I know you are an incredibly successful realtor in that area. You have a giant team. You have lots of people that can help people. Tell us how it works.
Yeah, so we serve all of Southeast Kansas. So we'll go from, I'd say, not quite to Wichita, but if you know where that is, it's more central Kansas. We're not quite that far over, but close. And then pretty much all the way to the Missouri line. I don't have an agent on my team that serves Missouri, but we're only like an hour from Joplin, 45 minutes an hour from Joplin, Missouri. So we're not far from Missouri. And we're also not far from Oklahoma. And I'm licensed in Oklahoma as well. So I like to say we serve all of Southeast Kansas and all of Northeast Oklahoma.
Ta-da! Here's
Yes.
Kansas. We love that. So you were saying Wichita.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So probably a little bit farther east of Wichita.
Can you see all that?
Yep. So you're going to go, I'd say, more to the east. But what's really cool, looking at this map, you can see the green, right? So that means you're going to have more trees, more, it's going to be different, varied landscape. So the farther west in Kansas you go, it's like prairies, it's pasture, it's flat. So it's mostly...
It's Wizard of Oz mentality. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That's Tornado Alley and yuck.
Yep. So we're in the Southeast Kansas area, which is probably one of the more populated areas outside of the larger towns or larger cities, Wichita and Kansas City. Our area, Southeast Kansas, I say more populated. We're in Montgomery County. So I serve primarily, I'd say, Montgomery County is my home base. That's going to be Independence, Kansas, Coffeeville, Kansas. Yep, you're right there.
Yay.
Yep, and then there's some smaller towns, Caney and Cherryville in our county. So our county has around, last I checked, 30,000 population.
The county has 30,000 people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Independence has like 85, 9,000, something like that. Coffeeville is about the same. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Are y'all just all of our farmers? Are we getting all of our stuff from your backyard? Are we getting our beef and our poultry?
I'd say a lot of it. A lot of it. Yeah. I feel like everybody has cattle out here, right? Even on 80 acres. We own 160 acres. So we have a few head of cattle. It's not like your big operations. But yeah, definitely. There's a lot of farmers. It's a country. It just depends on, what you're looking for when you're leaving California. Do you want that slower paced country life? at an affordable price, that's what we have to offer here in Southeast Kansas.
Well,
And
we
we're
have
not far from like bigger cities. Kansas City's like 2.5 hours. Wichita is about the same. Tulsa's
sounds
about an
very
hour.
familiar to the Bakersfield area. So your pistachios, your mandarin oranges, your beef, your almonds are probably grown in our backyard here in Kern County, California. So if you're enjoying those, you're welcome because the farmers are here. And I know so many farm families that are, California's kind of making it rough to be a farmer, and they don't want to stop what they're doing. It's their livelihood and it's their way of life. So for a farmer to leave from California to go to Kansas, they wouldn't have to change their way of life. They would just have to find a farm, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Find the property.
And it's a lot more affordable. I mean, you're talking a fraction of the cost, I'm assuming. I don't know what your prices are like, but
Sure.
It was really hard for me to find $1 million property. Let me tell you, there was one. There was only one in our entire MLS. So yeah, that was pretty
Was that
interesting.
a farm or was that an actual like home?
I was looking for a house for the comparisons. There is one I know of that's like 1.5 million that comes with some acreage and, it's like a mansion. It's like a mansion outside of town. But for the most part, your average price here is like 150.
150,000.
Yeah. You didn't even, so like your minimum, I don't know if they've watched your show before, but before she asked me to come on, she asked me to send her properties in different price ranges. She started at 300. I'm like, oh gosh, most of mine are less. Most of mine are a lot less.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So add
Where are people
150
going?
on
Are they
there.
just move up buys when you are, because like I said at the beginning, you're a very successful realtor. Something just flew into my eye. My apologies. So when people are moving and they're moving up in purchase, what are they moving to if the first house is 150?
No. The first house is going to be under 100. Your first house is my first home. Of course, it was 17 years ago, but
Right.
my first home was 35,000. You can get a starter home for 100,000 or less in our area, and then your move up.
Everybody in California just went, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What is the industry? What are they going to do? Because I have so many people from Southern California and Northern California that want a home, and Bakersfield is still one of the least expensive counties in the state of California, but our median home sales price is like $397 right now. So they reach out, they go, we want to find something under 150. And I'm like, okay, how do you feel about a manufactured home?
Yeah.
So and a lot of times their job will transfer, that kind of thing. So if somebody is looking for a first-time home under 150,000 and they want to move to Kansas, what are they going to do for a living? What's the industry? If they're not farmers or farm workers, what are they going to do in Kansas? What brings people to Kansas?
So in our county specifically, we have John Deere. So they manufacture John Deere. Yeah.
We know that.
We have a refinery, CVR Energy is what it's called.
Okay.
So it's oil and gas.
Sure, you have an Amazon. Everybody has an Amazon somewhere close.
We used to, and they took it away from us.
What?
So we did used to have a distribution center in Coffeeville up until 8 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. They took
I've never heard of Amazon taking anything away.
I know. It was very sad. But we replaced that building that they were in. It has another company is in it now.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are some of the bigger ones. Cobalt Boats, if you've ever heard of that.
Oh, I have.
They're around here.
Y'all have a lot of lakes there?
We do have quite a few lakes, actually. We have
okay.
2 in our county and 1 not very far from our
Okay.
county. So
Okay.
3 within, 20 minutes of probably wherever you live within the county.
So like
public
lake
lakes.
life would be a good thing. Like when you move to Texas, if you don't like lakes, Texas is not for you. Like Texas is full of lakes, right? So if you don't like lake life and boating on a lake, like lakes give me the heebie-jeebies.
And these are public. These are not like where you can build around it. We do have some private lakes that you can buy and build.
Waterfront property. Okay.
A few, but those are few and far between as far as coming up. But yeah. So I mean there's it's Elk City State Park, and they have hiking trails that's not far from where I live, and it's a lake as well.
Because
So
you're
there's a
in the
lot of
green part of Kansas. You're not in the Wizard of Oz part of Kansas.
That's right. That's right. I actually grew up in Oklahoma City. So
Oh,
if you're familiar with that at all, that is Tornado Alley. Like, let me tell you, that
right.
was, I'm very used to tornadoes growing up. And I moved to Kansas and, I was thinking, man, it's probably going to be worse because of Wizard of Oz, I guess. And it really isn't, at least not where I am. I feel like we very rarely see tornadoes here.
So now that we're talking about weather, Californians are very persnickety about weather and bugs. Like,
Mm.
we don't have a lot of bugs that fly here. We don't have tornadoes. Yes, we have earthquakes, but we don't have much beyond good weather and earthquakes. So tell me, now that we're talking about tornadoes in the Coffeeville area where you serve and the Wichita, all of that, like, what's the bug situation over there?
You definitely have mosquitoes, in the summer
Yeah,
months. And so
right.
that's the biggest
Okay.
annoyance.
We can
But
deal.
other than that, I mean, your normal like wasps and stuff like that. But a county over in Chautauqua County, it's a little bit drier, sandier. They have some scorpions over there.
Ooh.
We don't really have them as much here, but
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds like an Indian name. That sounds
yeah,
very
we're definitely
Indian.
in the heart of Indian country.
Is that
If
right? Do you
you
have like a lot of reservations out there that,
Not in our county, or I'm not sure where their closest reservation is, but
yeah,
like my husband's a card carrying Cherokee Indian, so it's pretty much everyone seems like is somehow
related
down the
or
road
married to? Yeah.
Indian in some way, shape, or form. But
Well, you're right on the Trail of Tears
yes,
pathway. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about that story. That'll make your blood boil.
I just watched that movie that they made in Pawhuska, which isn't far from us. The Pioneer Woman is in Pawhuska. That's only maybe 45 minutes from us. Pawhuska,
Pioneer
Oklahoma.
woman Reed Drummond?
Reed Drummond. Yeah, their whole ranch is there, and they just made a
Wait,
movie there. Killers of the Flower Moon, I think is what. Have you heard of it?
no.
It's a really good movie. I mean, I know we're way off topic now, but it's like the area we're in. This is the history that we're in.
Okay.
So the Osage Indians, they landed a bunch of oil, and again, they're not far from us.
Oh, I did hear about this movie. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. So these guys, or whatever, cowboys, they would marry the women and try to get their rights to the oil. And then they would kill the women, and it was terrible. But anyway, it's a really sad movie, but I just watched it, and that's the area that we're in.
Okay.
we got
Well,
found out
everybody
eventually.
has a history. Everybody has a history. Our whole country has a history. I work for Coldwell Banker, and Coldwell Banker has this, and it's called a move meter. So what happens is you go to coldwellbanker.com and you scroll down and you do this side-by-side comparison. So I'm going to type in Bakersfield, California. And would I type in Coffeeville?
Do Independence,
Okay.
Kansas. And there is an Independence, Missouri, so it might pop that up first. Independence, Kansas. You can try Coffeeville.
Let's see what happens.
There's even a Coldwell Banker here in Independence.
There we go. Oh, no.
Okay.
Coffee. Hang on. That says Missouri. All right. So this is going to calculate. We're going to get a number, and then it's going to talk about all of the things. Okay. So from Bakersfield to Independence, it's 1,535 miles. Could be a smart move if you value home affordability. So let's see what the move meter tells us, Jess. Here we go. 63. Okay. So we're going to go through housing affordability, quality of life, job market, living affordability. Okay. Home prices. Look,
Told ya.
you're not wrong. We were both dead on that one. The median home sales price here is I think I said 397, but that's about the average right there. And then you said under 150. Boom. I like it when we're validated, don't you?
We know our market.
Property taxes, those are pretty comparable. Home appreciation rate. What's a negative? What's that mean? -3? You guys have got to be growing with all these people moving. Come on, that can't be
We
right.
definitely have grown. I mean, it depends on the context you're in and the
Yeah.
time period you're in.
Yeah.
We have seen a appreciation, but I feel like it was only ever a seller's market in the 21 years I've sold real estate in Southeast Kansas during 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Yeah.
We're kind of entering back into a balanced market now.
Okay.
But prior to that, buyer's market all the way.
Yeah.
So
Okay, look at your price per square foot is dreamy. Okay, independent scores lower on housing affordability. We got that. So now we're going to go side by side with education. Ours is not great. Yours is not greater. I mean, the facts are the facts. Healthcare and fitness. Ours is 91. Yours is 41. Weather grade. Here we go. Oh, air quality index. Look at how ours is in the tank. Yours is 55. Commute.
you want a higher number on that?
Yeah. So yours is higher. Yours is on the right-hand side. And then your commute. So we don't have much of a commute. We're like a 10 to 15-minute town. So when you were talking about driving to the bigger cities, that must be why your number is higher.
Probably.
So you need to
Yeah.
be prepared for a drive, which in Northern and Southern California, that's all you do. So
Well, and it depends on where you want to work.
true. Yep.
If you want to work in town, then in a smaller town.
Yeah.
then-
Accessibility. So there we go. We're talking about like what we're near. And so 35 is on yours, 63 is on ours. Culture and entertainment, we're about the same. Independence scores higher than Bakersfield on quality of life. There you go. See, overall, Independence is a place to be.
So weather-wise, I mean, you said that. I know a lot of Californians really like that. I want to be in 75 degree all the time and never rain. We have all 4 seasons, sometimes all 4 seasons in one day.
Okay.
Yeah, there has been a time that it's gotten to 90 or like negative and then got up to like 80, 90 degrees. That happened in the last few years. I know it was kind of a freak. That's not normal. But we definitely have all 4 seasons. We get a little bit of snow, but not like Michigan snow. It's like a treat when we get it.
Yeah. You still go out and play in it. You don't have to like work
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. So,
That's
you know,
fun.
it depends on, I guess, what you're looking for.
That's awesome. Let me finish that little thing. Let me see what else. They've got a couple of other things on there. It's fun.
You mentioned education. So we in my county, we do have 2 community colleges, Independence Community College and Coffeeville Community College. So it's I feel like the school system is, and in fact, if you go to school here, I believe a lot of them get like scholarships to those colleges if they, complete.
What is the Kansas State Red? What are they? Red?
Jayhawks is
There you
well, that's KU. Sorry, Kansas State is Wildcats. Yeah.
Okay, but they're red. Somebody's red.
No, that's going to be Jayhawks. That's
Okay.
the KU.
Okay, so independent scores higher than Bakersfield on quality of life. Unemployment rate in Bakersfield is dramatically higher than in your community. Job growth, yes, we are negative. I'm not even surprised at that. Future job growth, yeah, and median home income. So ours is 73,000, and yours would only be 50,000. So
yeah,
that's
see, and I was thinking around 40, so that's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
We
your
do
state,
have
our
some
state income tax and yours. Holy crap! I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Each
No.
of these points you're bringing up, I'm like, oh yeah, and this and this. But
Yeah, tell me.
we are hoping to bring in some additional industry. There was just a soybean plant approved to be built, and it's in the process of being built now.
Okay.
So they're going to process that. I don't know all the details on it, but then from that, I believe they're going to be making jet fuel from something from the soybeans. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's going to bring in some additional industries and jobs as well.
Yeah, and there's no end in sight for what they can do with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we'll go state income tax. Ours is, yep, that's about right. Look at yours, 5.7. There was a time when 5.7 would have probably, blown our socks off. And now comparing it to 9.3, it's like, oh, wow, it's a bargain over there.
Right.
Utilities are the same. Food and groceries are still high for both of us. Sales tax. Oh, boy, you guys have a high sales tax for such a small community. I wonder why that is.
I don't like the taxes in Kansas, honestly. I mean, hey, you don't like the taxes in California? I don't like them here either.
Exactly.
Well, I just made a post about this the other day. There's a lot of things broken, in my opinion, with the Kansas tax system. But it's like overall, the affordability, because the houses are so much less, makes it where it's a little bit easier to stomach.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and you're still winning on other fronts. Like, I'm sure the opportunities are endless if you come in with a sense of like entrepreneurial mindset of like, we probably do need a really good chip and salsa restaurant, like a good Mexican restaurant or something.
We need electricians, plumbers,
There you go.
HVAC, all of those
Trades.
things.
I love it. All day. Do you guys have a lot of new construction happening out there?
Not a ton. I mean, there's not a lot of neighborhoods popping up. I'm actually building, and this is something that's kind of interesting. If you build in our county and you submit the application before you break ground, they'll actually waive your property taxes for 5 years. And then the next 5 years, you pay half of your property taxes. I literally just got done filling out the paperwork for it to apply for my house.
So you're going to build a house from the ground up.
We are. So, okay, let's talk my property. What my property's worth. I own 160 acres.
Okay.
We are building a barn dominium. It's 100 by 40, and half of it's going to be shop, half of it's going to be house. And so anyway, and this is going to
Proud
have a
of you.
lean-to on both
Proud
sides.
of you. Yes, that's brilliant.
And we got the appraisal back for, when it's all completed for our loan, and it appraised at 750.
So you're going to be one of those $1 million houses that you
I
couldn't
might
find a
be.
while back.
I-
In just a few years you will be. By the
But I'm
time you
just
start
like,
building, that's awesome.
if somebody in California is like, I really want some land, and your 3-bedroom house is worth $1 million, we can do a good trade here. So.
And so while you're having that built, are you living on the property, or are you like in a manufacturer, like
We're
I
in
don't
an
know if it's a
RV.
trailer. You're living in an RV life?
I'm living in an RV.
Go
Yeah.
you.
I
That
don't
is
know.
ambitious. I'm not sure I could stay married and do that, because it
Well,
gets really close.
we have time's a ticking. We have been in it since July. So.
Have you really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I
And you're
told
still happily
Cody,
married, and
Oh, well,
and you're
yeah.
still happily married and all the things.
We'll be married for 20 years in October. It's our
Praise the Lord.
20th anniversary. And I told
Yay.
him, if you want to make that 20th, I want my house done before our anniversary. So we'll see. I'll stay tuned for that.
Oh no, that's good. So let me ask you this. So we were talking about travel, and so if somebody is used to commuting, moving to your area with a commute isn't really going to rock their world. What is gas running there right now?
I wish I would have looked. It's around 375, 397-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I paid the other day. I was at Costco. Costco is generally on the cheap side, even if you do like whatever 92 or whatever the octane or whatever.
Yeah.
And I paid, I think it was $4.39, and that's cheap at Costco.
Yeah.
So we're pushing 5 on if you're just, or 6 if you're on the interstate, if you're on the freeway and you need to get off and get gas,
Mhm.
expect to pay a lot.
Wow.
So 3 some odd is like, what am I going to do with all this extra money?
Yeah, I know. I just
And on a
looked
full tank
a
of
few
gas.
years ago. It was $1.87 and $1.50.
Shoot. Okay, so speaking of Costco, obviously you know what Costco is. You're not, you don't live.
I've heard
on
of
the-
it. I've never been to one.
How about a Sam's Club?
Yes, we have Sam's Club.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
So the closest Sam's would be in Owasso, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And
How
that's
far is that?
30, 45 minutes
That's
ish
nothing.
away.
That's nothing.
But
Good.
we have 2 super Walmarts in our county.
Love. Yes. Well, that's why you have Sam's, because they're all, it's Walmart and Sam's are the same. So let me ask you this. Have you helped a lot of Californians already? You're
Yeah.
not too full to let us in, right? Like I know.
No, absolutely. You're
Okay, good.
welcome. You've probably been studying the migration patterns, and for a while, probably during COVID-ish area, 40% of all buyers were coming from out of state to our area.
I'm
So,
surprised.
and a lot of those were Californians, a lot.
Yes. And you helped some personally?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you're
I
still
mean-
friends with them and everything? You allowed them in? And
We allowed him in. In fact, one's going to come work for me soon.
Shut up.
Yeah, and she's going to bring more of her family here from California.
Yay. See, it's a great quality of life. I mean, even just the move meter said it, but then now you're even validating that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, and that's the reason I want to do this, is because I think a lot of times people get stuck, and and everybody does it, whether it's about moving or a way of life or whatever. And I just kind of want to help people broaden their horizons a little bit of like, there's some really great life to be led and had outside of these lovely California state border,
Mhm.
boundaries. You're not living on another planet. You're building a soon to be multi-million-dollar home. You're making a successful life for yourself and your family, and nothing personal, but it's not just exclusive to you. Anybody can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love that somebody that would reach out to me and be like, okay, I'm moving to Kansas. I'd be like, let me call Jessica. Here's her number. Because they
And
want
we
to build,
appreciate
they want to have a farm, they want to be able to go live on 123 Main Street.
Something else we have a lot of is the historic homes, like the craftsman style, the Victorian. I just listed a really beautiful home in Fredonia, Kansas, and I mean it is just gorgeous. And it's 3 levels because it has an attic that they turned into living space up there. The second
Okay.
level, first level, and it has a basement. I mean, it has all the cool woodwork and all the details.
Probably
Beautiful
beautiful
home.
wood floors and cased
Yeah.
windows. And
And it's 160,000. I mean, it's
how
so
many square
affordable.
feet is it?
Over 3,000. square feet. And it's energy efficient. They just did a lot of updates to the property to make it more energy efficient. They added like the split units so you can do climate control in, each floor in each room and, decide how you want that. So their bills are great. I will say this, Fredonia is not far from Neodesha, and that's just a little bit farther north of me. Neodesha has this thing called the Promise Program. If you have kids in school and you go to school there, send your kids there and you live in the district, if they go from their freshman year through senior and they make a certain GPA, they get a full ride to a 4-year school. And I think it has to be Kansas, KU or K-State, but still, full ride. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's by living in that certain county.
That school district, that town.
That school district, not even obviously that would be the
There was an
county.
alumni that donated this money into a trust, and that was the terms of the trust. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well done then. That's generational wealth times a lot.
Yes.
That's the way to do it. I'm still processing this 3,000 square foot home for 160,000. I love that. The other question I was going to ask you, so it gets really, really hot here. Triple digits, not a lot of humidity. I mean, we do get some, but it's rare. If it's 107, it's a straight 107. We don't really have like a heat index like a lot of other places.
Yeah.
And so pools are very, very common here. Are they common there, like to have a pool?
Yeah. I mean, above ground pools are pretty common. I don't see a ton of in-ground pools. There's a few, but I think most people just do above ground. As far as like weather in the summer, we might have a couple weeks that were above 100, but other than that, it's normally pretty mild in the 90s.
And no humidity?
We definitely have humidity.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
We do have a heat index. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of get creeped out on basements, and not everybody's like me. Some people love them, and I've seen them finished. I've seen them walk out. I've seen them creepy, like there's going to be dead bodies in there. Like, what's the general consensus on basements in your area?
Well, we're in a lower water level. I don't know what the right word is.
Like
elevation,
level,
I guess.
Elevation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so because of that, the water table level of our soil is higher. So I feel like we don't have as many basements. There's some, but like if you go to Wichita or you go to Kansas City, they all have basements. It pretty much everybody has one. In our area, because we're like the lower end of the state, they're used for storage, especially in the older homes, like the Victorian type homes, they pretty much all have basements, but sometimes they have water in them. They just have a sump pump. So it's not like a big deal. You keep your basement dry so you can be safe and all of that, but not necessarily for a living. Not saying there's none. There are a few, and we have walkouts, but it's not as common.
Will your house that you build have a basement or a walkout? No, you're doing one story.
One story. My husband refuses to have stairs, and I told him I at least want above our house, above the actual house part. I want a next levels for storage. He's like, "Well, I'll build you storage, but I'm not putting stairs to it." That'll be a lot easier if you can have stairs.
Well, but it'll also be easier to age in that property without having to worry about, like, I haven't been up on the second story in 17 years because I can't get there.
Yes. So he might have a point. So you're on Cody's side, it sounds like. That's okay.
Cody and I are tight. Yeah, we had a conversation. What else can you tell us before we wrap this up about living and moving to your...
Some claim to fame here.
Yes, tell me.
Let's see. So Little House on the Prairie is not far from where I live.
Wait,
there is a Little House on the Prairie museum. She talks about Independence, Kansas in her books.
She sure does.
Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty neat. And then let's see, Ethel from I Love Lucy is from Cherryville, Kansas.
All-time favorite show. You're hitting all the points right now, friend.
So yeah, there's been some fun things. Oil was really originated, the big oil booms in this area. The Arco building was built because of that. I should have written down a whole list, but it's just an area that's really rich in history and good people, and we have the beautiful downtowns, with the shops, and it's kind of like that Mayberry feel, I guess. Not that there's no crime, I don't want to paint an unrealistic picture. That is everywhere, but I would say definitely lower crime rate. I don't know if you have that on your comparison.
I think we have that on our move meter. We should have that on our... It might blow up on some cities if we put it crime. It might just be like there's no number left if we put some cities on there. But you know what? Because crime exists everywhere. As
Right.
much as people like to, like, my community gets vilified, other communities get vilified. And I'm like, I am not walking around in Kevlar. We do not live in a world where you cannot have your head on a swivel and watch your six. We just don't live in that world. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that's specific to Bakersfield or
Right.
Kansas. Like, we just don't live in that world anymore. As much as I wish we did, we don't. So I think asking for a place with no crime is adorable and dreamy, but it's really not realistic in
Right.
today's
Right.
society. I
But
mean,
we
you
should
know,
feel very safe. And that I think
yeah,
that's my point is,
yeah,
I mean, there was a time that I would, leave my door unlocked or leave my purse in my car and like
right,
have no issues. I really don't do that much anymore, but
right.
it is a pretty safe place to live and a great place to raise kids.
How long have you been there?
I moved here in 2005,
Oh,
right after we got married. Right
so
after we
about
got married.
19 years. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Lovely. So you're like a native now. You're not really like a transplant.
Yeah, I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere.
See, there
But
you
I'm
go.
originally from Oklahoma. I'm still an Okie at heart,
Yeah.
but
Take the girl out, can't take the state out, right?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you so much for coming on, Jessica. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. Again, for anybody that's watching that is thinking about leaving California and moving to what sounds like an incredible place to call home, buying some real estate in your backyard, Jessica, would be, I mean, I'm thinking about all the first time home buyers
Yeah.
that could potentially, like, because work from home is you can do that
Oh, yeah,
anywhere. So
definitely.
many people work from home. It's like, can you imagine making $60,000, $70,000 and building this I mean, what an opportunity. What an
Yeah.
opportunity. I'm blown away. And I'm so grateful that you shared this with everybody. I think it's such great information.
Well, thank you for having me on. I've really enjoyed it, and I would love to work with anybody that's watching or anybody that you talk to in the future
Where else
about
can we
our
find you
area.
if it's not on, I heard you say a post. So are we all finding you on Facebook, Instagram? Where are we finding you mostly?
You can, I would say, go to my YouTube channel would probably be the best.
Or
Because I'm
YouTube. There you
continuing to
go.
update. Yeah, continue to update that channel and page specifically about our area. You should just be able to type in either Jessica Hensley, selling Southeast Kansas. I am actively working to make videos to help expose the area that we're in so I can
Yes.
show people what we have to offer here. If you
Selling.
have
Yeah.
horses and you love, that kind of life too, there's a lot of rodeos around here and a lot of
Ooh.
people that rope and barrel race, and I mean it's a really good rodeo community.
Oh, we have a lot of that
You
here.
have a great 4-H program with the schools, so it's just like a really wholesome
It's like
way of
SmallTown
life.
America. It sounds
Mhm.
beautiful. It sounds
And
beautiful. I got you.
yep,
Look at this.
that's me.
She's on YouTube, folks. We love when they're on YouTube. Look at this. 3 reasons to move to Independence, Kansas.
Mhm.
Buying a home, seller lingo. Look at you. Look
Yep,
at
so
you.
we're actively working on this. So that would probably be the best place, and then of course my phone number is there. You can go to my website, which is SEKHHR. That stands for Southeast Kansas Heritage Homes Realty.
There you
So
go.
SEKHHR.com, and you can search for properties just for fun. If you do go to that website and you search for properties, you'll probably get a phone call from me and my team and see how we can help you.
That is fantastic. Look at all this information on there. Look at this. Oh, land in Thayer by the lake.
Some
Ooh.
of these are older properties. We left them out, but
That's all
it's still
right.
a good representation of what you can
Yes,
get
it's
here.
great info. Yes.
Mhm.
And this is exactly how they can reach you. 620-688-6039.
Yep.
That is fantastic. Oh, Jess, it's so fun. It's so fun. I love that you were here and that everybody got a chance to meet you and see you and hear from you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Angel, I
welcome.
appreciate you.
You bet. All right, we'll chat soon.
Okay.